So I represent a company called Samtel Avionics Ltd. Some of you may be aware of the work we do, some of you may not be. So before I talk about the subject at hand, which is MSMEs and startups and their role, maybe I would like to take a couple of minutes to explain what we have gone through and what we are today, where we started, and what are the learnings that we have derived from this journey of 17 odd years. Samtel Avionics started work under a DRDO technology development program way back in 2007 for developing technology for multifunction displays in the country. Since then, what we have been able to achieve is develop technology, develop products with that technology, put it on a very large fleet of Indian Air Force. The complete head-down displays on a Su-30 fighter are from Samtel's homegrown technology and product solution. Later on, we have carried this technology for lateral deployment to various other programs that have been built indigenously within the country. Of course, we are not present on platforms which are imported as a platform, but anything which is built by HAL or under license with our own design or, or on a license, we are present on them. So there are certain lessons we have learned, and I would like to put forth for consideration of the house here. We believe that staying close to one area of excellence is a sure shot recipe for success for a startup and MSME. This may sound strange to larger organizations, but for an MSME with limited access to capital, limited access to R&D funds, investing its own coffers to be able to develop a technology and offer solutions to the user. If we find some attractive things in the neighborhood and get attracted by them, then we would not have sufficient capital and funds available to fund what we actually set out to do. So this is one thing that has stood us in good stead, and we believe this is a method for growing and becoming bigger from a startup to a medium-sized enterprise. A second thing that I would like to bring forth for consideration is for an MSME, especially on the indigenization program. Since we are developing a product today, we are starting to develop a product today, for example, we have two significant advantages over an incumbent. Please understand, the incumbent would have developed his product at least 20 to 30 years back, in the sense that they would have designed a product, qualified it, put it on their own aircraft, and then decided to sell the aircraft or the product to, say, a country like India. So we have two significant advantages coming from there. One, that we have access to modern technological concepts and components which were not available to engineers, say, 20, 30 years back. That is one significant difference. And second advantage is, standing today, we have visibility of the technology trends that are emerging in the marketplace or in the industry, and we can very reasonably forecast what is it that a customer is going to ask for in coming few days or coming few years. And when we develop a program now, we actually take cognizance of both these facts and offer a solution or build a solution that is future ready. I mean, I'll give an example from the industry I come from. You would have heard in televisions, low definition, high definition, ultra high definition. We know this trend is also catching up as a requirement by the users. They're wanting higher definition pictures to be given to them, presented to them when they are flying. And if we know this trend, and I develop a solution which is universal, which can support a standard definition, a high definition, so a video card that can do multiple resolutions and multiple definitions for a display product and is created in today's time frame, it is future ready to be offered to users in the future. This advantage was not there at that point of time, which we may have today. Third lesson that we have learned from our experiences of last 17, 18 years is to be able to segment three baskets separately. The first is the technology development, second is the product development, and third is the manufacturing technology. All three have very significant issues involved with them. For example, if we make technology development a part of the product development program, it's a sure shot recipe for failure. There will be huge delays on the program. So one has to think and be very clear-headed. Technology development would not be made part of a program that is a deliverable to the user. Technology development must predate the product development journey. If we don't follow this doctrine, the programs are bound to run into troubles, and this is something we have learned the hard way, but we've been able to practice it now in our recent journey. I have been watching since morning. There are people who think BTP is not a right thing to do, but there's a MSME perspective. If we want to grow inorganically to a field that is not a natural habitat, BTP is an option which gives us access to one very significant capability, that is the manufacturing technology. And it doesn't come for free. You have to really work hard to be able to absorb the technology. As Mike said, it has costed them millions to get to that perfection. And if we are able, under a BTP schema, to be able to absorb and imbibe and learn from those experiences, it's relatively a smaller work than doing technology development, product development, and then BTP. Of course, BTP will not get us to a design authority role, we must admit. Whereas when we do BTS projects like I described earlier, we do get to a joy of being a design authority. If a Su-30 is to last 50 years, I would have the fruits of repair and maintenance market for that journey. So taking a BTS route is an option, very good option, but it's a option where the gestation periods are longer and risks are larger. Another thing that we have been able to garner and learn is buy-in of the stakeholders. It's so easy to start a program and then realize the user is not on board, DRDO is not on board because they are a stakeholder who are going to approve a lot of things, HL is not on board, and on top of them, people from Semilac and DJQ are not partnering with you shoulder to shoulder, and when you go to them for certification, you're made to dance to their tunes. So it's very important to bring all stakeholders, create their buy-in right from the beginning. I know the journey in the beginning would be slowed down, but it's better to be slower and plan it better for the future. So these are some of the lessons on the positive side that we have been able to put together. There are certain issues that we must also address from an MSME perspective. The first and biggest issue is our inability or our lack of culture to be able to team together and build a product which is up the value chain. Hardly there are any examples where MSMEs have come together and offered a bigger solution than say LRU to a subsystem to a system. This is a cultural issue, maybe. This is what I carry as a thought. But we must create a facilitation mechanism for MSMEs to come together and offer a more complex product moving up the value chain to be able to offer a real genuine capability in the country. LRUs alone will not take us to that point. Second issue that I think it was mentioned in the earlier session also by Air Chief Marshal Bhaduria, and we have experienced that. We have seen the platform makers, the OEMs in the country, actually get into components and LRUs. What is happening is an MSME invests and develops a technology and a product, and then you find your customers trying to be competing with you. It's a very bad feeling to have, and a bad feeling in the business sense that we supported them to develop a technology, a product, and now they want it to be made within their own accessories division or somewhere. So we have to be cautious. We should take the platform integrators to the purpose for which they have been created, make aircraft, and not become accessories makers or components makers, machine centers, SMT shops. This is counterproductive. You're duplicating the investment and the capabilities at two different locations and not gaining anything. You're destroying at least one of the two. There is another aspect that needs to be focused upon, and I see that last 3-4 years there has been some positive movement. When you're talking about technology development, you're wanting a strategic independence, say 10 years down the road, you have to identify the technologies that you want today. If you say my upgrade program on such and such fleet will have so and so thing, for example, I'll create an example. Every aircraft has an issue where we want to reduce the weight. But the trends, for example, from our industry, my role, is to offer better images, higher resolution images, better videos, high quality videos to the flyer. And that takes a lot of copper to transmit all that. So we know that for future, there would be a digital video transmission to the pilot through the system and sensors over a fiber which is lesser weight than a copper. It's a trend that we can forecast. And to be able to do that, there are protocols that are internationally coming through let's say something called as ARINC 818, which is capable of transmitting high definition videos over fiber in a 1/10 of the weight of a copper cable. I'm happy to share that schemes like TDF have been able to identify the needs of the Air Force to technology development and offer TDF projects on items like these. This is a success story because once the IP for ARINC 818 is developed in the country, all our future programs can use that protocol for its video transmissions. This is the thought process that must be spread largely and widely to be able to identify the needs of the future platforms and create technologies today. Thank you.